Hey guys, so I just wanted to come on right quick and talk to you guys. Um, the other day I posted on this page Tiffany Montgomery's purpose planning session, basically. It's like a 2 hour video, but of her doing like a live, and she talks about like the steps she takes to kind of prepare for the next year. And so she kind of took us through this whole entire process, and she talked about it was like several different steps for what you could possibly do, right? So I'm on step 3 right now. Step 3 of the process is to look into the Bible and see who you're most like. So find somebody who's in the Bible who you're most like, basically. And so I was trying to figure out, okay, who am I really like close to? Like who is someone that I kind of either have a similar gifts of, or God may use me in a similar way. And so I started off trying to figure out just by like asking God, like, okay, who am I like, and I started to go down, just flip through or whatever. And then I thought, well, maybe I'm like Paul, because Paul was a teacher and he was an apostle. And so back in, I think it was September, God kind of like revealed to me that I'm a apostolic teacher. So basically meaning that I am a teacher but I'm a teacher, but I lean towards the apostolic. So just kind of how the way I do things. So a lot of things with the apostolic is like equipping other people, helping them discover like who they are and giving them the tools to go forth in whatever God has called them to do. Starting new things, so creating, innovating, really going forth and like pioneering. Like that's kind of like a apostolic part of it. And then teacher just saying, like you're going to teach. You're going to teach other people. You're going to educate other people on all this stuff. And so I went to a conference and I found all that out. And like the first part of this is, just investing in your walk. And so it's something I just want to encourage you guys to do. Like, a lot of times, like we invest in so much stuff. We invest in school. We spend thousands and thousands of dollars to get like a formal education. If we have a hobby, we invest in that. We learn how to do it. We get all the tools and materials needed to, go forth in whatever new hobby we decide to take on. Like every other area in our lives, we invest in, we put money in, we literally spend money on. And so why should our walk with God be any different? Like if it's something like you're really passionate about or something you really care about, then it's something that you should really put for money in. So like go to conferences, read books, do whatever it takes to like really get deeper and learn more. Because I feel like yeah, there's a lot of things you can get for free. Like a lot of the teachers that I follow. So this conference that I went to back in September, it was Dr. Faith. And I talked about her previously before and how she's somebody I kind of follow. And so she does a lot of lives. She does a lot of stuff on like Periscope and Facebook Live. She does them like all the time. And you can go back and like on her YouTube page and see like all her previous ones. And so like all that stuff is free. She gives all this stuff for free. But it's something about when you invest and when you actually put money into your actual like into your own development, that you just get a lot more from it. And also being in the atmosphere. So yeah, you could have went to the conference, like she was like streaming it online. So you could have watched it online and it was like a cheaper option. But if you had the option to like go in person, like just the atmosphere was completely there. To be in that atmosphere was like I learned so many things from God just from being in that atmosphere and making sure that, just because I was there, this is I was surrounded by, other believers, people who are like have strong prophetic gifts. Like it was so many people who had strong prophetic gifts. Like everybody was getting like words and all like left, right, everywhere. And like people were there, like it was people who were seers, so they could see into the spiritual realm and they can tell you, oh, I see this, I see this, I see this. And so to be in that atmosphere, you can't help but to learn and to grow. And like God, like made those connections. So like it was crazy because how all this stuff lined up. Like literally that fast was that conference was the beginning of my church's fast. And like my church was fasting, I think it was 21 days, or it might have been 40. I don't remember. It might have been 40 because it was really long actually. I remember it was August and September, and that conference was in August. So yeah, we were doing a fast. So I'm already in a position where I'm helping myself like be able to hear from God a lot clearer. So then to add that plus the conferences, it's like I was given revelation after revelation just about who I am and who God has called me to be. And one of those things was apostolic teaching. So I'm going through this exercise, right? And I'm like trying to go through the Bible and see like who am I most like. And so um I started I was just like sitting there thinking, like asking God, okay, who am I like? Because I had a reason that I was like Paul, but I was like, it's not enough for me to say that. I need, God to say that. And so I was like going through, I was actually rewatching the scope and like just working through stuff, and God told me, you're like Paul in the Bible. I was like, okay, cool, bet, cool. So just like earlier today I started, looking up Paul, seeing what he was all about. Like I know about Paul, but I wanted to, make sure to get like all that I could from like his life and his ministry. And so then I was done with Paul. Like, okay, cool. Now that's the only person God got like some people, like Tiffany herself, she had like a whole list of people who she was like that she was like she had a couple people from the Bible specifically. And I was like, man, I want, more people. Like, I don't know, it's crazy how we can get like jealous or covet what other people have or want more. Like, literally just found out, I was like, Paul, like, isn't that enough? Isn't that like literally enough? Like, what more do you want? Like, he wrote, all these books in the New Testament. Like, literally, how much more do you want? It's crazy how selfish we can be at times, or how dissatisfied we can be at times when, God told us one thing, we always want more. It's always like a more to these things. It's crazy, right? So anyway, so I was like, the other person I was thinking about, and this is from well before I went to the conference, I thought that I might be, because I've heard that exercise of finding somebody who you're like in the Bible. I've heard that before and I've done it before. And I had in my mind that I was like, Barnabas, and Barnabas is encourager. They call him the encourager. And so I was like, oh yeah, that's me. And like there's some aspects that are similar. So like for example, like literally was the main thing that I really was holding on from Barnabas was that he encouraged people, that he was the encourager. And so I was like, oh yeah, I can reason like, oh, in situations how I always like try to offer like encouragement or whatever. And so I was like, yeah, I can make that work or whatever. And so I was working on the assignment again. So I was done with Paul, and I went to Barnabas, and I started looking up Barnabas. And of course I found, the encourager. It was like, okay, yeah, right, on track. He's also an apostle, which is cool too. But then the thing about Barnabas was that he was an evangelist. He was an evangelist, and then he became an apostle. And the thing is, I'm not an evangelist. Not even, I'm not. And so it's crazy. Like I was literally about to go really hard, try to have like be like this other person, when there's a very clear, that's not who you are. I literally, God called me to be this apostolic teacher. Ain't nowhere in there where it say you are also an evangelist. Now, of course, everybody, is called to evangelize, spread the word or whatever. But like literally having the office of the evangelist, it's not something I obtain. It's not something I have. I don't hold the office of the evangelist. Like that's just not it. So I was really about to go into this really long, deep study of how I could possibly be like this person Barnabas, when that's not who God called me to be. And it's crazy because I was like, and then I had to stop as soon as I saw that, word again, evangelist, I was like, oh yeah, that's the reason why I stopped looking into him the first time. Because at the conference, we literally talked about Barnabas and how he was an evangelist who became an apostle. And that's when I ruled him out then. But then since then, it's like, it's crazy, like God would teach us things and reveal things to us. And like, we got it, get it. And then time goes on and we forget. We don't remind ourselves of the lessons God has already told us. So now we have to go back. Like I literally wasted, it wasn't that much time because thankfully I stopped myself, but I was literally about to waste like in a whole entire period of where I could have been diving deeper into Paul or going to the next exercise on Barnabas, when that has not, like, that doesn't align with who God called me to be. So said all that to say that, one, if you're searching for who God called you to be, one, first and foremost, just pray about it. Literally ask God. Invest in books and conferences and speakers who can like help reveal those things to you. Even just making those type of investment, not even just for that one particular answer, but for anything, can really like open a lot of doors. Because you're like, when you make those investments, you're planting seeds, and eventually those seeds are going to grow and produce fruit. So like, this is another reason why you should just really invest into your walk, is because then you'll start to see the fruit of it, and it's going to be like super awesome. Like I'm starting to see like fruit of things that I like invested a long time ago, and it's like been like low-key blowing my mind. It's crazy. I'm going to tell you guys all about that as it comes up. But anyways, So, one, invest in your walk, and then also um seek God for who He called you to be. And then when He tells you who you are, don't let anyone else influence you. Don't let your parents, don't let your family, your friends, don't let society, don't let the enemy try to influence on who God told you you are. Because then when you do that, basically, you can end up wasting a lot of time going after dreams, going after like jobs or whatever that God never had for you, because that's not who He created you to be. So like seek God for who you are and then stand firm on it. And so then once you're firm on your identity, you don't have to waver. Like, oh, those things, like, I don't have to do everything because I'm not called to do everything. And when you know who you are called to be, you also know who you're not. So then you also have this standard of, oh, I don't have to do these things, or I'm not this, so I don't have to do this. And it's really cool because ever since I've like really gone, like, I've been going really hard and learning about identity and like my purpose, and things have been a lot clearer. And so like there were things that, like, really good goals that I had for myself, that I was really willing to spend, time getting another degree. I was going to really spend time going after this internship program for like to be an RD or whatever. And not to say that, eventually down the line those things can't happen, but where I am right now, this is where God wants me to be. I'm right exactly where I'm supposed to be at. And so I don't have to keep, applying for other jobs or applying for other schools or keep striving for other things just because, it would look good. But is that what God really wanted for me? And in this moment, I can say no, because I know exactly who I am and what God has called me to be. So just to encourage you guys, really seek after who God has called you to be, and then stand firm on it and don't compromise on it. Because once you really are set on that, it's like a lot of freedom comes with that, and that freedom is awesome. So yeah, that's all I had to say for this one.